This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Fiscally responsible, financial geniuses, monetary magicians. These are things people say about drivers who switch their car insurance to Progressive and save hundreds. Visit progressive.com to see if you could save. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary, not available in all states or situations.
The following contains descriptions of physical violence, sexual violence, and graphic descriptions of autopsies.
Hey listeners, welcome to episode 88 of TGIC Podcast. I'm Jillian.
And I'm Izzy.
And today, we're in person.
And we're recording this episode in my room, in my apartment in Vermont.
I traveled here just to record this episode.
Just for this, just for you guys.
I just flew here so I could record this very episode, and then I'm leaving.
Yeah, she's actually leaving in the next, 2 hours, so.
Yeah, peace.
Peace out.
Just kidding, guys. This is just a benefit of me being here. I also get to visit Izzy.
Yeah, so that's pretty great.
I didn't even write, an introduction. Normally I have this a lot more planned out. I just thought this was goofy.
No, yeah, this is kind of like literally we've had such a day. We went to my college library and researched. For this, I wrote an essay on rice, which is great. And now we're here. Yeah. We're going to talk about Appalachia. Appalachia. Okay. So, we're going to get into a little bit of background. So, the Appalachain Trail is the longest only footpath trail in the United States, and it bridges from Maine to Georgia.
Or does it bridge from Georgia to Maine?
Either or. In 2024, the Appalachian Trail measured 2,197.4 miles in length, and it spans across 14 states. Every year, the trail has over 3 million visitors, and I would say that it's, the most well-known trail in the world.
Yeah.
I feel like everybody knows about it.
I don't know the world. I feel like Mount Everest is, the world.
But, is that, a trail?
I mean,
that's, a mountain summit.
Go up a trail. You not?
Okay, Captain Obvious. I mean, the Appalachian Trail, I feel like so many people, go to it.
No, I mean, it's totally well known. Not disputing that. I just mean that it's also Mount Everest, not Mount Everest.
Anyways, so something that I find really interesting when I was doing research, and I've heard about this in other podcasts that go way more in depth than we're gonna go, but when discussing the paranormal and cryptozoological aspects of the trail, it's interesting to note that millions of years ago when Pangea was intact, the Appalachian mountain range was actually split, and part of the same land is now present in Europe and northern Africa.
That's so cool.
Which is super cool. And, if you look at the different legends, indigenous peoples' legends and, Native Americans, they have a lot of similarities. To the point where it's okay, how are they writing these same legends, at the same time, even though they had no communication? They just go by different names.
Huh.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I could go into a full episode about that alone, but we're not really going to talk about that in my Hauntings and Cryptids section, so I just wanted to mention it because it's, a really fun rabbit hole if you're interested in that.
That is super cool, actually.
So this geological discovery led to the creation of the International Appalachian Trail, which now recognizes the ancient mountain range internationally. So, you can hike, technically, the Appalachian Trail when you're in Scotland.
Really?
Or when you're in Ireland.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So, yeah, that's just some cool little things. A very
interesting
brief background. Okay. Anyways, so since it's October and it's spooky season, I'm going to start this episode off by talking about the hauntings and the cryptids on the trail. And there are, freaking hundreds of these stories, guys. There are so many of them. I'm just, covering a few in very brief detail. And I'm going to have some, of my favorites, I didn't go into detail on, but I'm going to mention them. So, yeah. So, the first one is the Phantom Hiker of Grandfather Mountain. So Grandfather Mountain is located in North Carolina, and many people say that this area of Appalachia is one of the most beautiful views and vistas on the entire trail. The mountain is so beautiful that people often say that they never want to leave. And well, the phantom hiker of these hills never did.
Ooh.
People who have seen this guy say that he's an older man with a beard, dressed in quote-unquote working man's attire, which is not from our time. He looks to be from, like, the mid-1900s, and he looks, like, kind of worse for wear. Like, kind of ragged. Frankly.
Dissing on the phantom hiker.
Yeah, sorry, bro. He has a walking stick and a canvas backpack. And most of the people who have sightings of this ghostly apparition say that they don't even realize that he's a ghost until he vanishes into thin air in front of them.
Oh.
So he'll, like, briskly pass a hiker or, like, a group of hikers without saying anything. And then suddenly he just disappears when he's walking in front of them.
That's creepy.
Yeah.
I guess he's not doing any evil, though.
No, he's not, like, malevolent. Like, people don't get a bad vibe from him. And, like, I think, like, the main theory is that either he's, like, a hiker who, like, lost his way and couldn't find his way back and died on the trail, or maybe he's just a cute old guy who wanted to stay in the beauty of Grandfather Mountain after his death.
Yeah.
So, both are kind of fun little options. Yeah. And then the next one is kind of bizarre. So that's, like, the only, like, ghost that we're going to talk about. So, the Flatwoods Monster is a cryptid that was first reported as being seen in the forests of Flatwoods, West Virginia, on the Appalachian Trail. People think that it's, like, an extraterrestrial, more so than, like, a cryptid or haunting. So, on the night of September 12th of 1952, 3 boys witnessed a bright object cross the sky. The object came to rest on land belonging to a local farmer, and the boys went to one of their mom's houses where they reported seeing a UFO crash. She was like, I don't know what you guys are talking about, you freaking little kids, like, whatever. And then,
I love, like, the whole 1950s, like, fascination with UFOs.
I know.
It's such a weird thing I'm, like, weirdly fascinated by. We have to go to Roswell, New Mexico one time. I went there, like, one time when my family drove cross country, and that place is just fucking weird. It's like, I'm sorry, respectfully, if you're from Roswell, New Mexico, the place was just, like, dedicated to aliens. It was crazy.
I kind of love that vibe.
Yeah, like, it was just kind of, like, spooky dooky.
Ooh, it's like Salem, but, like, for aliens.
For aliens, yeah.
So apparently the boys and some other locals then followed, like, where the boys said that they thought that this craft had landed. One of the people who went with them actually had a dog, and apparently once they got onto the farm, the dog, like, ran ahead of them, but quickly it came back and it was, like, scared. Like, it had, like, its tail between its legs and was, like, freaked out. So after walking for about, like, a quarter of a mile on this farmer's land, the group saw a large pulsating ball of fire.
What?
Yeah. So to the left of this ball of fire was an object that had, like, 2 glowing eyes. The farmer turned his flashlight onto the thing, and it shrilled and then flew towards the group. And the group then, like, ran away in a panic.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. And if you look at a picture of this thing, it looks bizarre. So the Flatwoods Monster was reportedly 10 feet tall and 4 feet wide. And it appeared to be, like, they don't think that this was the creature itself. They think this was, like, a robotic suit, which was controlled by a creature.
Oh, I don't like that at all.
Oh, horrible. So it had, like, toy-like arms and a face that looked like a barn owl with really big eyes. So, like, a big round face, and it, like, there's, like, differences in what color it was. They think it was either, like, dark green or black. Like, there's a lot of, like, convoluted arguments about it. But anyways, yeah. So once everyone returned home, the mother of one of the boys contacted local police and reported the incident to, like, local newspapers. And like, there were also other sightings in the same area, and there's, like, not a lot of firm evidence of, like, where the craft supposedly landed or, like, this creature. But, like, one of the other people who saw it, like, had severe, like, trauma and mental issues following.
Oh, shit.
That was, like, kind of undisputable. Like, they definitely saw something.
Yeah.
So that one was just kind of interesting to me.
Yeah,
I never
that is
really
super
looked into it. But
that's spooky.
Yeah. Spooky wookie. Okay, and then the next thing is Puckwudgies.
I think I've heard of these before.
I think Morbid has definitely talked about them. So, Puckwudgies are little creatures told through the stories of the Wampanoag peoples. So, they're short cryptids standing at no more than 3 feet tall with human-like features except for having notably long fingers, noses, and ears.
Aww.
And they have gray skin that sometimes glows. The little guys will, like, vanish into thin air at their own will. They can conjure fire with no tools. And they carry around little poison arrows, and when threatened, they shift into a porcupine-esque creature that looks kind of like a little troll.
Yeah, like kind of... sorry, I did just look up a picture. Kind of giving like combination of like Dobby and an animated porcupine.
Yeah.
Not Dobby. What's the creature? Like the older raggedy one. His name's Creature with a K.
Yeah, Creature.
Yeah, kind of a mix of Creature with a K and a little bit animated porcupine, and also like in this one, kind of giving like Justin Timberlake's character from Trolls.
The guy from Trolls. Anyways, yeah.
So yeah, a little mix of everything.
So these little guys like to be left alone. They've been reported as being seen in the mountains of Massachusetts, and if taunted or followed, they act kind of like tricksters. So they're known to lure people into falling off of cliffs.
That's rude.
They they take little babies, and they can even like stab people or like throw sand in people's eyes. Yeah. So
that's fucked.
If you see a little forest troll or something that looks like a porcupine, just don't like run away. Basically, run away.
Okay. Don't bother. Don't disturb.
And like it kind of varies between tribes and like tellings if like they are nice to humans, but for the most part, like I think a general rule of thumb, just like don't.
Just don't.
Just don't.
Just don't.
Okay. And then, now moving on to the Mothman.
The Mothman.
So I could talk about the Mothman forever because I'm, like, obsessed with the Mothman. I've watched so many YouTube videos about it, and I wish I could do a full episode on it. But this is a very, very short, like, synthesis of all the information of Mothman. So, in the state of West Virginia lies a tale of the Mothman. This story is what kind of really got me into the concept of, like, cryptids and cryptozoology, because I saw a BuzzFeed Unsolved episode on it, like, years and years ago.
I saw that one.
Yeah. So, in 1966, on a cold autumn night in Point Pleasant, West Virginia, 5 men in a cemetery who were preparing a grave for the next day saw a large, brown, winged creature take off from some nearby fields.
Ooh.
They all held onto the story that the creature was humanoid and not bird-esque. And November 15th, 1966, Roger and Linda Scarberry and another couple were driving down the road through a nearby area close to this place called the TNT area, which I'll get into. And they said that they saw 2 large glowing red eyes near the Old North power plant. They said that it was oddly humanoid, stood at 7 feet tall, and had large wings folded and tucked behind its back, like a big moth. They stopped the car to inspect the creature, but then the cryptid spread its wings and pursued the car down the highway at super fast speeds.
I would shit myself.
Allegedly speeds over 100 miles per hour. The couple even reported this to police right when they got into town, and they had a full police report. There was they corroborated each other's stories. It was crazy. And also, one of the Scarborough... Whoa. Linda Scarberry actually had a lot of trauma and mental issues following this, so yeah.
I mean, I would.
Yeah. So going back to the TNT area, it's a hotbed for Mothman sightings because it's an old abandoned ammunition whoa. Oh my god, I cannot talk. Ammunition and explosive manufacturer from World War II.
Oh, that's freaky.
Yeah. So apparently there are a ton of underground tunnels and rooms which stored all of the
I want to go there. That
products.
Sounds so cool.
Yeah, and they just left them. Some of them collapsed, some of them are sealed off, but not all of them. Apparently there's also a lot of chemical runoff which was just left to seep into nearby water.
Have you seen Friendship?
No.
It's this new movie with Paul Rudd.
No. I
Oh my
haven't
god,
seen
you
it.
have to watch it. There's this whole thing about like going into tunnels and exploring, and it's like hilarious. This movie's so awkward. Like you have to watch it one time, like,
Okay.
and then watch it.
Yeah. Ooh, okay. I'll look into it. But anyways, yeah. So creepy. So there have been like so many sightings of this creature, and they're like even ones beyond the Appalachian Mountains, like in Germany. I also saw something on a Reddit thread about a Mothman-like creature being seen at 9/11. Guys, don't know if that's real, but I'm just saying, like, the lore of the Mothman runs so deep. So if you're interested in it like I am, I really recommend going down, like, a crazy Reddit, YouTube, Wikipedia rabbit hole and, like, just looking into it because it's really interesting.
Yeah, that is fascinating.
People who see the creature say that they have feelings of extreme fear and psychological stress, which sometimes lasts for months to years post-sighting.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyways, okay. The last one I'm going to talk about is knot deer. So the knot deer is a creature with the most sightings in Appalachian Mountains in Tennessee. At first glance, this creature looks like a normal deer. But once you look a bit closer, you'll realize that something is off with its anatomy or behavior. Their movements are described as being baby deer-like, even if they are appearing as full-grown adults. So, like, they can't walk very well. Some people say that it looks like they have additional joints in their limbs and that their like limbs are longer than a typical deer. The weirdest thing, though, in my opinion, is that people say that their eyes are on the front of their head instead of the sides, which is a trait of a predator, which I found really interesting.
That is really interesting.
Because, like, usually, like, they have prey eyes, like doe eyes, like, on the side of their head, but, like, a predator is, like, looking straight forward. Yeah. So apparently they'll, like, approach humans, and they're not known to really attack them, but people say that they just feel, like, super uneasy when they're around them. And, like, apparently people have seen them, like, walk on their hind legs. And they kind of remind me of, like a flesh pedestrian.
Ooh.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because, yeah. But overall, and then also some notable things that I didn't go over is the raven mocker, the goat man, and the moon-eyed people of Appalachia, which are super interesting.
The moon-eyed people? That sounds fascinating.
I honestly really should have gone. If I had more time to research, I would have. But apparently they, like, live underground and they have, like, white eyes because they're not exposed to, like,
that's
sun.
That's really scary. Now I'm gonna look that up later.
Yeah.
That's really scary.
But what I think is really interesting about, like, Appalachian cryptids is that, like, most of them aren't just hauntings. Like, it's, like, these, like, weird, like, extraterrestrial creatures or, like, things that are just slightly off from normal, like Uncanny Valley-esque.
Yeah. If you had, like, out of one of these things you had to encounter something, which would you prefer to encounter?
I kind of want to see a Puckwudgie.
That's what my answer would be, too. Like, the Phantom guy would be chill, but, like, I kind of want to see a Puckwudgie, and I feel like if you just don't bother him, like, they won't bother you.
I just want to see it. You know what I mean? Because, like, a knot deer, like, it's not like it's going to do... Like, a Puckwudgie might, like, be, like, a little trickster towards you.
But, like... A knot deer would actually scare the shit out of me, and all like, Mothman scared the shit out of me. Like, Puckwudgie I don't think would scare the shit out of me, but, like, worst case scenario, it, like, bothers me a lot.
Like, throw sand in your eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
I don't know.
Now we're moving on to true crime on the trail.
Ooh.
So, since 1974, only 13 murders have occurred across this 14-state long trail.
Which is crazy.
Which is really crazy because, like, this statistic suggests the trail is, like, pretty safe. Like, considering how many people, it's, like, millions of people attempt to hike this every single year, or at least, like, hike a part of it, and, like, 13 murders have only happened since 1974. That's, like, an insane statistic. But some of these stories will make you think that you should just never trust anyone.
And also, like, this makes me think about, like, disappearances.
Yes.
Yes.
Just you wait.
Oh.
So I'm going to start by sharing a couple of the stories of these 13 victims that died while hiking the Appalachian Trail. So the murder of Joel Polson, this is the first recorded murder that occurred on the Appalachian Trail. So, in 1974, Joel was hiking with his friend Margaret McFadden on the AT. They stopped to spend the night at the Low Gap shelter in Georgia, where they met another man named Ralph Howard Fox. The following morning, Ralph decided to kill Joel just so he could steal his hiking gear, and then he kidnapped Margaret. He eventually released her a couple days later, and then Margaret went to police and reported what happened. Ralph was caught, pled guilty, and ended up facing a life sentence in prison.
Wow.
But that's just, like, horrifying, and, like, it's kind of a common thing you'll see, like, almost, like, there is this idea, like, on the Appalachian Trail, like, yeah, you should befriend, like, your fellow hikers and, like, be close and, like, support everyone. And, like, I think that must work most of the time because, like, so few bad things happen. However, like, these stories are just, like, damn, you can't, like, what if you trust the wrong one?
Yeah, like, you can't trust anyone. I feel like even if you do befriend someone, don't trust them.
Yeah, it's just, like, horrifying how, like, some people could be so nice, you could meet lifelong friends, and then in other cases, it's, like,
oh, I'm gonna kill you, kidnap the person you're with, and take all of your hiking gear.
Yeah, like, this guy just killed him so he could have his hiking gear. Like, that's insane.
That is insane.
Okay. The next story I'm going to talk about is the murders of Robert Mountford Jr. and Laura Susan Ramsey. So, in May of 1981, Robert Mountford Jr. and Laura Susan Ramsey were hiking on the AT. I believe Robert was trying to hike the whole trail, and Laura met up with him for, like, a section of it.
Okay.
The pair were both 27, and they worked as social workers in Maine. And they were actually hiking to raise money for the troubled teens that they helped out at a center in Maine. I think it was, like, a school that Robert's mom ran that they both helped out at. So they were both known to be these, like, really incredibly kind and caring people, which I think is shown by their careers, but also, like, just, like, their actions later on. Like, you'll see, like, I think that they just were, like, incredibly kind people. So while they were on the trail, they stopped to spend the night at the Wapiti shelter in Virginia. While they were there, they met this man named Randall Lee Smith, who they invited to have dinner with them. And this guy is, like, after the fact, people talk, and they're like, yeah, he's kind of just, like, an odd guy, like, a little bit of a weirdo, loner, like, so just even, like, in them being like, oh, yeah, have dinner with us, like, that you can just see, like, they're really, like, kind and outgoing.
Yeah.
So the three of them have dinner together, they share their food, whatever, act of communion. After dinner, Randall just attacks Robert and Laura, like, completely unprovoked, random.
Wow.
He shot Robert several times, and then he proceeds to stab Laura several times, and her autopsy would later show signs of sexual assault, and she also had severe defensive wounds, so she was trying to defend herself, really. Randall attempted to cover up his crime by burying them in shallow graves a few hundred yards apart. However, because the graves were shallow, the bodies were found a few days later. When the police began investigating, other hikers mentioned that there was this weird guy named Randall Lee Smith, kind of just like this weird, awkward loner, and he had actually been going around telling people that he knew what happened to the missing hikers.
Jeez.
So police immediately start looking for this guy. They're like, okay, this weirdo's going around blabbing, like, this must be a solid lead. So they're looking around, trying to find him, and they eventually locate him all the way in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, which is quite far from where this occurred. I mean, I guess not. It's a couple states, but still, like, beach versus Appalachian Trail, yeah. So police figure out so when they do find him, he is, like, saying he has amnesia, has no idea who he is.
Okay.
So police figure he's lying, obviously, like, they don't trust him, so they try to figure out, like, a plan for him to just admit that he doesn't have amnesia. So because he'd been on the run for so long and camping out and stuff, he had these, like, severe bug bites that were being, like, infected, and they looked disgusting, apparently. So police were like, oh my god, you have to see a doctor or you're gonna die. And he believed them. Well, I don't think you could just die from really gross bug bites, obviously, but, like, he bought it. He was like, fuck, I don't want to die.
Okay.
So they're like, okay, just in order to do that, like, sign this, like, fill out this little, like, medical document. Sure as shit, he remembers his name's Randall Lee Smith when he's writing on this. And then
is this guy actually dumb?
He's, like, really stupid.
Good God.
So then they're like, oh, well, you know your name. He's like, oh, no.
He's like, no, my amnesia. I forgot about it.
So, once they finally identify him, he was then arrested and eventually charged with 2 counts of second-degree murder, which is bullshit because it was, in the investigation, they find out it was totally premeditated. Like, he had these weapons on him, and then there's also, like, if they find, like, it's like a note or a diary entry or something later, where he said, he was like, wow, these people are so nice, it's too bad I'm gonna have to kill them. But,
Okay.
like, the worst part of this whole thing, there's no motive.
Yeah.
He didn't steal from them. Like, there's literally no motive. And, like, he doesn't even seem to have a motive. He was like, they were very nice. I hope I don't have to kill them. Like, why did you kill them?
Yeah.
That's fucked. So he ends up serving 15 years out of 30 before he is let out on good behavior, and he's on parole.
I don't understand that. You killed 2 people. You were convicted of this. How are you let out on quote-unquote good behavior?
Well, also, like, who the fuck is, like, gonna actually behave badly in jail if they're like,
No.
you can get out if you're on good behavior, and then, like, what all you have to do
and what
is
does
just,
even
like,
good behavior mean?
like, you're already in jail. Like there's
you
only so
killed
much
2
you could
people.
do. Like, you could just, like, be a menace in jail, or you could just not be. Like, I don't
Yeah.
know. Like, to not be seems pretty fucking easy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so the next story is the murder of Rebecca White. So, in May of 1988, Rebecca White and her partner Claudia Brenner were in the... How do you think you say that? I don't want to say it wrong. You think it's
Michow?
Michow?
I don't know.
I didn't know if it was like Michow or Michow.
Michaux.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Michow?
Michow?
I'm going to go with Michow. If I'm wrong, I'm sorry. The Michow State Forest section of the AT in Pennsylvania. So they stopped to use, like, one of the public bathrooms near a campsite, and while they were there, they met this man named Stephen Roy Carr, who asked them for a cigarette. They later meet him again on the trail when they, like, were stopping to look at their map. They just crossed paths again. That night, when they set up camp, Stephen had been spying on them. He ended up going over to them and shooting at, like, 8 times, like, between the 2 of them. He ends up killing Rebecca and injuring Claudia pretty severely.
God.
Since this has happened, this has been deemed a hate crime as Stephen targeted them for their sexual orientation. 10 days later, Stephen is arrested for this crime, and he is sentenced to life without parole. Since Claudia has become an advocate for anti-gay violence and is advocating a lot, but that's just really scary.
Advocating against anti-gay
Yeah.
violence? Okay, you said advocate for anti-gay violence.
Oh, advocate against anti-gay violence. Sorry,
Advocate
guys.
against.
Whoops. That actually was a good thing you caught that.
Yeah, good thing I got
Wait.
wait.
I'm an advocate against anti-gay violence.
We both are. Against.
Yeah. I'm very much against violence that targets me.
No, exactly. Jesus.
Anyway, but yeah, so just like in all these cases, it's so scary that, like, these random people you're meeting and, like, thinking you can trust will just end up, like, doing horrifying things to you. Like, you know, you share a meal, you share a cigarette, and then they kill you.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy. Terrifying.
Okay, so the next...
See, people are scarier than the freaking Pukwudgie.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
The scariest part of this whole thing is, like, the true crime part, because, like, the other things are scary, but at least, like, you can blame it on external forces. These are, like, our own, like, people.
Yeah.
I don't know, it's fucked.
Ugh.
Okay, so the next one I'm going to talk about is the murders of Julianne Williams and Lolly Winans. So, while this story doesn't technically occur on the Appalachian Trail, it happened right nearby at the Shenandoah National Park in Virginia. So, Julianne and Lolly were a young couple who decided to camp at this park towards the end of May in 1996. But their trip soon took a dark turn. When Julianne ends up not coming home from her trip when she's supposed to, her dad reports her missing, and investigators found that Julianne and Lolly and their golden retriever who had been with them, his name was Taj, they had not been seen for days. On June 1st, the bodies of the 2 women were found 1/10 of a mile off of the Appalachian Trail. Neither had been sexually assaulted, but both of their throats were slit. Taj was found wandering nearby unharmed. The initial suspect was this man named Daryl David Rice, but he was eventually ruled out by DNA evidence. In June of 2024, so fairly recently, the FBI was able to use DNA evidence to identify their killer as Walter Leo Jackson, who was a serial rapist from Ohio. But Walter had died in prison in 2018, so he ends up never being charged with the crime. Also, because of this, the motive is just unknown, and honestly, I couldn't tell you what I think it is. Like, I wrote down, like, potentially maybe it's another hate crime. Like, that seems to be, like, it mirrors the other case a little bit. But also, like, what threw me off, and maybe this is just, like, me, like, not, I don't know, like, people do crazy things. Like, you can't really read criminals all the time, but, like, this was, like, a serial rapist, yet he didn't sexually assault either of them. He just killed them. Like,
which is so interesting. Like, why did that happen?
Yeah. It is, yeah. I don't know. It's just really scary. Like, you really don't know. Like, we still don't even know what happened to these women. Like, there's no motive. They just, like, they've connected this guy, but, like, technically they don't, it's not like they have a confession. They just have, like, DNA evidence.
And I think it's kind of reassuring that they found who it was through DNA evidence, and, like, they can rest easy knowing that that person has since passed on.
Yeah.
But, like, at the same time, like, there's no justice because, like, they don't know why this happened. It was just senseless.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Just sad. So here are some other true crime occurrences that have occurred on the AT. So the attacks of Scott Johnston and Sean Farmer. So in 2008, these two men, who were 38 and 33 at the time, they were camping at the Wapiti shelter in Virginia when they met this man named Ricky Williams.
This is a crazy story to me, by the way.
It is crazy. I have a spoiler alert. His name's not actually Ricky Williams. His name was Randall Lee Smith.
Dun, dun, dun. Who we've already met.
Yes, at the Wapiti shelter in Virginia. So the two men have dinner with him, and I think it was some odd story kind of on how they ended up having dinner. Like, I think Randall came up to one of them when they were, like, separately fishing and was like, oh, I ran into your friend. Like, he said I could have dinner with you guys. And then it was some odd scenario.
Okay.
So he, like, invites himself to have dinner with them. They have dinner, and they end up talking for, like, a few hours, which the two men are actually pretty surprised by how long Randall stayed, because he mentioned that he was camping about an hour away from where they were.
Okay.
So when Randall finally gets up to leave, he just, like, opens fire and, like, starts shooting. Wow. While both Scott and Sean sustained serious injuries, they were able to survive and escape. Randall attempted to flee in Scott's truck, but he ends up crashing it. And then he gets caught, and he ends up dying in jail 4 days later as a result of the injuries he got in the car crash. So
that's just insane.
Crazy.
You went to the same place.
I know. This is exactly why people shouldn't be able to get out. Like, when they do crazy shit like that, because he just went back to the exact same spot, did the exact same thing, like, had dinner with people, and they fucking killed them for no reason. Yeah. Not that killing with reason's okay, but, like, no, you know what I mean?
Like, he had no reason, and thank God these men didn't die, and, like, there was...
Like, you're less worried about people repeat offending if you know why they did something, like, or targeted someone specifically. It's like, these are exactly the type of repeat offenders, like, crazy people who have no motives. Like, he went back to the fucking same shelter on the same trail and just, like, ate dinner and then killed them. Like,
Jesus.
Messed up.
So messed up.
So, well, thankfully, there are relatively few murders on the AT. There are tons of people who have gone missing on the trail.
This is another thing I find so interesting, is people who go missing in woods.
Yeah. So the exact number is actually really difficult to keep records of. Like, there isn't an exact number because local police departments are in charge of keeping track of all these cases. So, like, it's split across different, like, towns and cities and states. So, like, it's just not, like, a trackable number, really.
Yeah.
So in our source material, though, you can find the Unsolved Appalachia website, which identifies all of the known people that have gone missing or were murdered on the trail. So I recommend you guys check that out. It's a really interesting site. But I am going to talk about one pretty well-known missing persons case from the AT, and that is the disappearance of Paula Jean Weldon. Paula Jean Weldon was born on October 19th, 1928 in Stamford, Connecticut. She grew up with her parents and 3 younger sisters there. In 1945, Paula began attending Bennington College in North Bennington, Vermont.
Shout out Vermont.
I had to mention Vermont while I'm here.
Yeah.
On December 1st of 1946, which was during her sophomore year, Paula decided to go on a hike on the Long Trail, which is a part of the Appalachian Trail. All of her friends were busy that day, so Paula just decided she was going to go alone. So after working her shift at the dining hall, she goes back to her dorm, she puts on her hiking clothes, and then it's noted that while her clothes were, like, fine for the daytime, she was not dressed for, like, colder night temperatures. She also didn't pack, like, a bag. She didn't have any extra clothes or jackets or money or anything. So, like, just seemed like she was going for an afternoon hike. So, like, definitely seemed like she was coming back that day. So Paula was able to hitch a ride from a local contractor named Lewis Knapp, who drove her from, like, the college entrance that was near Route 67A to a point on Route 9, which was near the Furnace Bridge.
Okay.
So after that, he drops her off, and she either hitchhikes or walks the rest of the way to Woodford Hollow, which is another town where the trail started. So
It's a lot of work for a hike.
yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
But apparently she was very dedicated.
Yeah.
While walking up the trail, she stops and she talks to a group of hikers that are coming down the trail, and she asks a few questions about the long trail. After that, she's seen continue to walk north into the late afternoon. The last known sighting of her is at the Faye Fuller camp. When she didn't return that night, her roommate assumed that she was out studying, but when she was still gone the next morning, that's when she decided to report her missing. There has been extensive ground and air search efforts for years and years, but Paula nor any of her belongings were ever found.
Oh.
Following her disappearance, several theories arose. Some people said that she ran away or died by suicide, both of which seem pretty unlikely just because she probably didn't run away considering she didn't take anything else with her, and not even a jacket.
Yeah. And Vermont can get cold.
Yeah, and it was December 1st, so
yeah, it's probably cold.
It was probably, yeah, she couldn't have been thinking she was going to be out for that long. And then died by suicides also seems unlikely because when I was doing research, it said one of the reasons people thought that she had run away was that she had just been really high spirits recently.
Oh.
So both of those kind of contradict each other, and also it just she talked to a lot of people on her way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She didn't really seem like she wanted to be doing something that where she wouldn't want to be found.
Yeah.
Other people think that she got lost along the trail and ended up dying from a result of something with the elements. But
then why didn't they find her?
Exactly. It's probable, but also they did extensive ground and air search efforts and never found her. One person of interest did end up coming up in the case, and this was a guy named Fred Gaudet, and he was the last person to see her. So this man did lie to the police several times, which I think made him more of a person of interest. He also saw Paula after he got into a fight with his girlfriend, and he left to go drive up the trail after this fight, and that would have been the same direction that Paula would have been going in, so they would have been going in the same direction basically.
Yeah.
Others also reported him saying he knew the whereabouts of Paula's body, but he denied this to police.
Oh.
So they never really figured anything out after that, and to this day, this case has never been solved, and it is actually kind of linked to other disappearances in the area around the same time. This all happened in the Bennington Triangle area, which is known for spooky disappearances and stuff, and especially during this period that was in the mid 40s to early 50s. Apparently, a good bit of people disappeared during that time, so it's all kind of linked together. But I do just find it so nothing of hers was ever found.
That's crazy. And it's also something I'm noticing now that we're talking about this is so many of these both cryptozoological and all these murders and disappearances were in the mid 1900s.
Yeah.
And even that hiker, his attire was mid 1900s.
Yeah.
The ghost hiker.
Yeah.
So it's just I wonder if something caused all these things to be amplified during that time.
Yeah.
Because I feel you hear about so many missing persons cases and murders and serial killers who operated then.
Yeah.
I don't know. I find it really fascinating.
That always just makes me worried though. It's do we only hear about those more now because there's more information about it because we're so far delayed? Do you think there's so much stuff going on right now that we just don't have information on?
Maybe.
You know what I mean? It's not that it's not happening, it's just that we don't have the information yet because we're not as far removed.
Yeah, that's possible.
I don't know. That shit freaks me out, though, because then it's well, how many, active serial killers are out right now? And,
yeah, we just don't know.
People haven't even pieced it together yet.
Yeah.
Creepy.
So creepy.
Before we end this episode, though, I do want to give a little, safety tip plug. I won't yap about it for too long on here, but you guys should make sure to check out the article that we have linked from Greenbelly. Author Katie Licavoli, I'm sorry if I pronounced that wrong. She does this excellent job at researching a lot of the cases that we talked about in this episode, and she also shares really good key safety tips specific to the Appalachian Trail, so you should definitely go check that out if you're interested.
Yeah, and also I know that Two Girls, One Ghost and Morbid both have done a lot of episodes about the Appalachian Trail and about some of these mysteries, disappearances, and cryptids. All of the things that we talked about today, but just super in depth.
Yeah. So there's definitely a lot of other sources, and you can check out our source material, other podcasts. But yeah, these were some stories from the Appalachian Trail. Please remember to be safe while hiking and follow us on Instagram and TikTok at tgic.podcast. Bye.